Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling. I'm Blade Daly, and joined, as always, by my friend, my good friend, Books and Bodyslams. Books, how are you?
Hello, soft hearts. Well, I'm over-caffeinated and cranky, so it's going to be crankinated. It's going to make for an interesting time, but I got my fork, so if I got to get stabby, I'm ready.
It's bad news for me. It's great news for you. So you at least came prepared.
I did, and I warned you.
You did. You did warn me. That's true. You wrote me much earlier in the day.
I messaged him at like 3 and was like, I am in a foul mood.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I'm
but
really,
I showed up.
It's very fair.
With a smile for the most part.
Yeah.
Until one of our later segments.
Now, I've had a smile myself, Books, because as I revealed on Pro Wrestling Forever, for some reason, just, I don't know why. I saw the price was going to go up. Yeah, shits and giggles. I saw the price was going to go up, and so I decided to buy a Switch 2. And yeah. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Mario Galaxy in 4K is pretty cool. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in 4K is really cool. And then I started playing this game called Hollow Knight because I'm always up on the newest, coolest thing. So I found this game from 2017, started playing it. A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And you're gaming too to kind of deal with some of your aggression.
But I'm doing GTA 5. But you saying Zelda makes me mad because I tried Breath of the Wild and I failed miserably. Like I could not grasp the concept of Breath of the Wild. And I was so excited, right? Because that was one of the first games I wanted to get on the Switch. I hate that game. I hate Zelda.
Wow. So this game that is historically beloved by so many is despised by Books.
Well, I think it's because I started with like probably the worst installment to start for someone who's never played the game.
That's true. If you've never played Zelda, that might be a little overwhelming. There is
no idea how the build stuff works, and
yeah, that's true. Well, and Zelda's different from game to game. I mean, so Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are kind of the same thing, but the games change a lot. So,
or is it Tears of the Kingdom?
Tears of the Kingdom. That's where you build a lot of stuff.
Is that the newest one?
Yeah,
that's the one. Oh, yeah, that's the one I have. Nope, that was not a good one to start on. Nope. Bad.
You might like Breath of the Wild.
I've heard I should go to Breath of the Wild to help me.
It's a simpler version of the same thing.
Yeah. So I may actually do a switcheroonie and trade in my Tears of the Kingdom for Breath of the Wild. But
well, while you figure that out, update us.
I will.
Certainly.
And I'm really sad that you're telling me the Switch 2 is going up, because I was waiting to buy the Switch solely for the new Pokemon game.
Oh, okay. I have friends who say that they're going to remaster or basically recreate a bunch of old Zelda games, and they're waiting for that. And I'm like, well, the system's going to cost $50 more.
Oh, that's it? Okay, that's fine. I'm not getting it until Christmas, so I assume it might go down like $100 by then. So.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the chat's saying here before we move on. Dr. Fusion, I'm here after fighting AI art thieves and supposedly working. I applaud it, sir. I applaud it.
Be careful. I was once told I was an ableist for saying AI wasn't art, so And toxic.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, and one of those, you've copped to being toxic in your own way, right? Like,
I fully admit it, but not because of that.
Yeah. I mean, not ableist, but like, yeah, toxic for sure. Me too. Blur Your Line's asking about GTA single player or online. I play. Yeah.
I'm
all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to admit I'm a single player guy, right? Like I'll play the computer and learn how to destroy it and then feel super good about myself. If I go online and play against people, I'm probably getting destroyed by a 6-year-old, and it's very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The only online game I play is Battlefront. And
okay. All right.
Not that a lot of people play that anymore, but it's a lot.
Blair Line says sometimes he's just a repo man or a taxi driver. Oh, that's good. Skewered Universe says, I'm glad someone else plays GTA Online, LMFAO. And then there's a lot of that. Yeah, I wouldn't make Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom as your first Zelda. They're very open.
And I love open worlds. Like those are my favorite games. So I was so excited, but I think it was just very overwhelming because of.
Yeah. I get it. Blair Line says, fucking nerds talking about video games when there's cool jock pro wrestling shit to talk about. Hey, we cover a lot of dimensions here, okay?
We're multifaceted.
We're wrestling and gaming kind of go hand in hand, don't they? I've only played about 25 minutes of the OG Zelda on NES, Skewered Universe says. Wow. I beat that entire game. That might have been the first game I ever beat. Skewered then says, if Thekla can be toxic, so can books.
Yes.
I mean, fair enough. Dr. Fusion says, my issue with Zelda is too many folks gush about the games and it keeps me irritated about You guys like the game too much. Now I'm not going to play. No, I get it. I mean, people kind of say that about AEW. Honestly, I think people are so into it that some people are like, oh, you guys are in a cult. There's no way this is like really this good, and, I am definitely one of those people where when something's really popular, I usually wait for it to pass and then I play it. Or like I was the same way with bands, with all of it is. Because in the moment, hype, gets really out of control. And I'm like, is this hype or is this really as good as people say? So,
well, don't tell me to hype up the new Taylor Swift song because I love it. So.
I saw you were really pro Taylor on this one. Toxic Books Chance. That's right. And Blairy says, I need to know what the Sickos game community night game would be.
Ooh.
That's good. Well, it's probably not Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to say that. I love that game. I love that game, but it doesn't seem like it would work for everyone. Speaking of things that don't work for everyone, books, Kevin Knight. This is why we're gathered here today. We're here to talk about the rise of one Kevin Knight from, babyface, just blue chipper with all the potential in the world that we didn't know was signed to a 1-year contract when he first debuted. You might remember he wrestled Will Ospreay in place of Jay White at the last Double or Nothing. He got added to the show like a week after he debuted. Had a great match, and he's just continued to have great matches. Him and Speedball have been lighting it up. But we saw at Double or Nothing, Kevin Knight turned heel on Darby Allin. Last week, he came out and said, I told Darby not to let me down, not to let all of you people down. And apparently, Darby let everybody down by losing.
Is Kevin Knight wrong, though? No. Darby did let us down. We wanted a bald MJF, and Darby did not deliver. I'm sorry. Kevin Knight is fully right there.
Wow.
I'm fickle.
You're upset You're upset that we didn't get bald MJF.
Yes.
That's what you're really upset about.
Yes.
I mean, even though Darby defended the belt every single week, twice a week, often.
Yeah. Nope.
When he the craziest
mattered, he couldn't come through.
Wow. Well, that's pretty heartless, books. Okay, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Like Leo Rush.
My boy. Goddamn. I love Blackheart Leo Rush. We'll talk a little bit about Leo a little later.
Yes.
Yeah, we are in the chat. We are now in the chat talking about building an online GTA closed session. And then Bleary says the community game night would just be me playing WWE 2K on the easiest difficulty, stored with 3 finishers and a no DQ match versus Hogan. Listen, I have gotten really good at all the wrestling games, okay? When I played 2K24, I bought it when I bought my PlayStation 5 just to see like where the game was. I just didn't like it. I just didn't enjoy the game that much. I thought the playability was worse than it had been. Oh, yeah, we got people in the chat always never is like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Larry Line says, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yes. Leo Rush has set the world on fire. But back to Kevin Knight. Turned heel on Darby, came out, said Darby screwed everything up. Books agrees with him because Books clearly is in the heel era.
I've always teetered it. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's very true. It's very true. And you say Don is the bad guy. Okay, whatever. And before, so the match, gets made last week after Kevin Knight attacks Speedball. The match gets made for this week. TNT title match, Kevin Knight versus Speedball Mike Bailey. We all want to see this match, right? I mean, this is like going to be a really, really good match. Mm-hmm. And it was a really, really good match. I watched this show twice for a very specific reason we'll talk about later. But right before the match, it was revealed that Kevin Knight was the newest member of the Don Callis family. He joined Uncle Don because he saw the wisdom that Uncle Don is always imparting to his disciples. And it surprised a lot of people, even me. The reaction that I saw to it was pretty overwhelmingly negative in the group chat I was in and on socials. Books, what was your take on that?
Well, I hate Don Callis, so obviously I don't love this. But I think Kevin Knight is playing Don Callis. And I think he's there as a secret spy.
Okay, you're jumping ahead a little bit.
So, well, I'm sorry.
Fine. That's fine.
You asked me what I thought, so I just told you what I thought.
So I saw a lot of people posting that they didn't like it. They didn't like this at all. Why would you have him go with the Don Callis family? And I think that's actually the reaction AEW is going for on this one. Does AEW know that the Don Callis family is humongous? Yes, they do. Do they know that it has been referred to as the NWO of AEW? They do. And I will illuminate all the ways in which I can tell you that they are very, very clear on this. But the whole segment starts with Andrade coming out, giving a promo about wanting to challenge MJF, right?
How you know.
And the challenge is cut short by whose music? Don's. And he comes out with Jake Doyle, and they're looking kind of menacing at Andrade, right? Andrade doesn't even look like he's 100% sure why they're coming out. And then Don just introduces Kevin Knight as the newest member of the Don Callis family. Mm-hmm. And, Kevin Knight comes out doing the Kevin Knight thing. He's got the Bret Hart glasses on. He's looking too flat. And these guys proceed to have an absolutely, like I said, fantastic match. Watching it again, the spot where they had like done this thing where they were like kind of the coordination between these two guys is crazy, where they're like faking each other out at moments, and Knight goes to do a leapfrog and Speedball does a literal spin kick and hits him in the face in midair. It looks beautiful. It was super, super cool. And a fantastic match. It was way better the second time I watched it because I wasn't chatting and kept my eyes just on the TV. And Knight wins when Don cheats to help him win. Speedball gets screwed. Kevin immediately cuts an in-ring promo and says, the only reason I'm here, after he calls Don Perignon, right, which is a fantastic name and very fair to Don.
And also a very good champagne.
Yeah, and Don is the champagne of wrestling managers. The only reason I'm here is to get a shot at MJF and become Jet 2 belts. So let's see kind of where the chat's at with this. Clear Line says this was a very good match, that they didn't do justice with the placement on the card, in my honest opinion. Again, just a strangely ordered Dynamite, maybe because of the NBA Finals. I could see that. Dr. Fusion, I want a Darby Foley versus MJF Kevin Knight tag match with Mr. Sacco, taking out MJF and getting the shave we need. Oh boy. Books and Bodyslams is in the chat saying Don WO. Okay, all right. You know,
I thought that was clever.
It's not bad. It's not. We could workshop it a little bit, but it's not bad. Skewered Universe says Kevin Knight's childhood dream was to be part of a faction run by a man that looks like an in-process circumcision.
He even has a little scar to prove it.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I mean, that is probably somebody's dream out there. You know,
probably.
Stephen Miller for the Trump administration. He looks like not an in-process circumcision. He just looks like a poorly done circumcision. Blurry Line says Kevin is 100% playing him, which is why I'm happy to give this a chance. I think it's a great chance for Kevin to sharpen his bastardly skills. That is exactly what's happening here.
He's a spy.
I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out yet.
He's a spy.
But this is one of those cases of the phrase "let it play out" used to be one of those things that you would hear WWE fans say a lot, and WWE used to use that phrase a lot about stories that were going nowhere. Okay. They'd say, well, let it play out. You haven't seen the plan yet. And then the story would go nowhere. And then everybody would mock the people saying it. So when you say let it play out now, people are like, let it play out. But it's seriously with AEW, you kind of got to.
Well, and AEW has a track record of actually letting things play out well. Case in point, Jon Moxley.
Absolutely. Yeah. And somebody who's been accused of not letting things play out is me. I'm accused of it all the time. And it's fair a lot of the time. I've been accused of it with the Death Riders, probably the most. And you know what? I was wrong. All right. My unique ingredient to this podcast that makes it different than other wrestling podcasts is I actually say when I'm wrong. And the Death Riders have proven to be a much more durable story than I ever expected it to be. And now they're part of the biggest story in AEW, which is this story with Will Ospreay. So, wow. Books is saying Andrade is too good for the Don WO. The Don Callis family, that is very original. Andrade currently has 4 personality traits: long hair, likes ladies, hangs hog, and how you know. The best 4 personality traits, some might say. I don't disagree. It's not bad. It's not bad, honestly. They're very good. So Don is like Miller High Life. Yes, he is. He's the champagne of managers, like Miller High Life.
I would have called him the Keystone, but it's all right.
Bleary Light 7 says, not gonna lie, if Mick ever pulls out the sock and it has ha ha ha, yes, ha 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 in speech bubble on it, I will die happy. Mr. Sicko. That's correct. Yes. And then Always Never. Knight is getting a chance to sharpen his mic skills and have fun as a character being young. AW stories take longer, so I try to be patient. Exactly. It's going to deliver. And Kevin Knight is clearly the apple of Tony Khan's eye currently. He has been marked for greatness and really sped up through the process. It reminds me a lot of MJF and Kyle Fletcher. Both those guys.
You can definitely tell there's the Kenny Omega push that I like to call it, because Kenny selects certain people and they get pushed like this. And I can see.
I thought it was very interesting that Dax Harwood was talking about Kevin Knight. That's the first person I heard really gush about Kevin Knight and about, he knows where he's at in the ring at all times. He's, this is a guy who came up. He was trained by Shibata. For Christ's sake.
I think he
trained at the Buddy Wayne Academy and by Katsuyori Shibata. I think he knows what he's doing.
And it seems like the whole locker room is completely behind him. Making him you can kind of tell where AEW has put their next round of when the Kennys and the Wills and the Hangman's all kind of, because people forget Hangman's like a year younger than me. He's not exactly a complete spring chicken. So, but he's still young in terms of wrestling. But you can see where they're lining people up. It's Takeshita, Kevin Knight, Fletcher and MJF.
I think Bandita probably factored into it somewhere too. Yeah. And so, obviously Don has already proven to have a pretty regular business relationship with MJF, right? He, for one, what was happening when he came out with Jake Doyle? Andrade was calling out MJF, right? Kyle Fletcher has made it clear that he doesn't want anything to do with MJF and doesn't want the family working with MJF. And Don never gives him an answer when he says anything about it. And then having Kevin Knight immediately call out MJF after the match tells you, the viewer, there's going to be conflict here very soon, right? Because he said, the only reason I'm here is to go after MJF. However, quick side note, one of my favorite things about Don is that he'll manage a guy like Takeshita or Andrade, listen to them call out somebody he has no intention of ever letting them fight, and just act like everything is normal while undercutting them anytime it comes close to actually happening.
Does that make him a good manager or a bad manager?
Oh, it makes him master manipulator. He's just incredible. What I like about Don is he's not a movie villain manager. He's not like, he's just like, yeah, no, that's great, buddy. And then he screws him. He's like smiling at him and stabbing him in the back at the same time.
My favorite is that the Triple H fake calls him like a knockoff Paul Heyman. And I'm like, no, let's just be real. Paul Heyman is not on the level of Don Callis. Don Callis is a whole other fucking level.
Yeah, and Paul does a great job doing the movie villain.
Yeah, he's a movie villain, but Don he's
a movie villain. Yeah.
Is a real life villain. He is what you expect a mob boss to be.
Don is the guy who steals your wallet and then helps you look for it.
Yes.
Like he is that guy. And you don't have a clear-cut read on him, and then you find out he's been absolutely burying you to everybody around you and him the entire time.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him. So it just amazed me how many people could not see this. What we're talking about here. It seems like all of us understand pretty clearly, right? The people in the chat, Books, seems like you get it.
I got it right away.
You look like you're in the chat right now, and it's really, I'm scared of what you're going to say.
Oh, no, my hands are, my keyboard's under. My hands are up here because I'm stretching.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, to the people who didn't get it, this was obviously going to end up being red meat for the podcasters and the post-show people and for the fans to be pissy about. But how pissed should they be is my question.
Not at all,
because I think you're jumping to the... Yeah, I think you're jumping to the end before we've even finished the beginning, right? AEW takes time to tell their stories. There's always lots of wrinkles to those stories. They're never linear. There is so much going on with the Don Callis family right now, but Kevin Knight is obviously kind of Takeshita's replacement temporarily.
Yeah.
Right? He's the one you identify as a big star. There's like the clowns of the Don Callis family, which is like Trent, Rocky, Lance Archer. Those guys are the B team, the Don Callis B team, and they're doing a great job playing those parts. But we also know Kevin has some kind of lingering issues with Swerve, right? We also saw Prince Nana toting around an embassy towel. Do people honestly not believe that there's going to be some kind of connection there? Furthermore, I saw a lot of people who said Kevin Knight should have joined the Hurt Syndicate. And my question is, why? Why would you say that? Because they were just in Stadium Stampede, and
they're baby faces right now.
Yeah, they're like at least neutral.
Yeah, they're like a me. They'll go either way depending on their mood.
Yeah,
but they're not full blown heels.
Yeah, and Kevin is being built up to be a big deal right now.
Yeah.
Having him be the little bro of Bobby and Shelton isn't going to help that.
No,
it's going to make him look like a little bro. You do not want a little bro Kevin Knight right now. So the Hurt Syndicate is a fucking stupid idea.
Yeah. The Hurt Syndicate's going to be busy in about 51 days anyway. So.
Yeah. The Hurt Syndicate's yes. I know. Shelton's calling out the New Day already. So, being, and there's nothing wrong with being the little bro of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They just need to find somebody else to do that with.
Yeah. I don't think Kevin Knight also doesn't need that kind of like put someone who needs guidance with the Hurt Syndicate as opposed to someone who can stand on their own. And Kevin Knight has proven he can stand on his own.
And just got to say it. And keep in mind, I'm the white guy here saying this, but I see a lot of white guys are the ones suggesting this. And it's like, why are you suggesting that? Because he's young and he's black. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, there's more to him than that. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous. They showed that there is an actual storyline development with Swerve. Like, it makes a lot more sense.
They're gearing up for something like Kevin Knight is an undercover spy for the embassy to maybe recruit members and get them away from Don. Yeah. And join the embassy. Because it's also been like less issues too, and more like they kind of also look at each other longingly like, oh yeah, I see you.
Yeah, no, and I think what's great about what they're doing, and we got the chat kind of talking about this spy angle that you brought up. Simon Miller brought it up as well. That he's working for Swerve, possibly that he's trying to recruit others into the embassy with him. I think that they are going to have Kevin Knight manipulate Don. And he will be maybe the first person to ever truly get one over on Don.
I think that's how it's
that Don doesn't turn on instead. Because they're not trying to make you think that Kevin Knight is this young protege. They're trying to make you think he is a master manipulator. And he's gonna screw Don. It's gonna blow up big time.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. We have all know how I felt about Don since Screwdriver Gate. So
yeah, it's basically like you can't have Don pull the same shit on absolutely everyone. By now, if you're a wrestler in that company, you've seen it happen to Kenny, Ospreay, Takeshita. It just happened to Takeshita, right?
It's happening with Andrade.
Yeah, it's happening with Andrade right now. So you gotta just go for it. But yeah, Kevin Knight's smart. He's paying attention, and he's gonna get one over on Don, get what he wants from Don, probably knowing that he doesn't want Kevin Knight to face MJF, right? He's and the thing that's so funny to me about Don is he's never said he's not protecting MJF. His actions clearly show it. You know what I mean? Let's jump into the chat here. Agree Skewered always never says the AEW's women's division has always been weak in AEW as far as consistent booking for stories. Makes me miss Rampage. Meant to read that one later, but Blurry Line says, not gonna lie, most white people being like every black wrestler should join the Hurt Syndicate gets on my nerves a little bit, but I'd rather leave more appropriate folks to have that discussion. Blurry Line very much echoed and agreed. It's fucking annoying. Not all people of the same ethnicity need to be in a group together. That's not what needs to happen. You know,
that's a very, I feel like, WWE under Vince McMahon booking.
Yep. And that is very WWE under Vince McMahon booking. Always never agrees. Bingo.
Wow, people are being nice today. This is weird.
Skewer Universe says maybe MJF should join the Hurt Syndicate. I think that could work. I didn't say,
I didn't dislike MJF with the Hurt Syndicate. I didn't like how they did some of the.
It was really nonsensical the way they went about it, and it just didn't work. I think Kevin Knight is going to out Don and stand side by side with Swerve. Yeah, exactly. Always never. I don't fantasy book, but 3 things I would be okay with: Kofi and Creed are coming to AEW, the Embassy growing out of the DCF having issues, and Mercedes getting the women's championship. I
am 99.999999% sure Kofi and Creed are coming. The Young Bucks wore their
I feel very confident.
Their version of the Bootio shirt the other day.
Okay.
They made a joke on their live stream when they were raising money for Rebel about the New Day. I mean, I think it's pretty much set in stone. I think they've already had their conversations, because you can have those conversations on a non-compete. That contract is going to be signed the moment that the hour the non-compete is up.
The minute it's legal, they're signing that shit. Yeah, for sure. And they'd be crazy. They'd be crazy not to, because I'm pretty sure Tony will back the Brinks truck up for them. And how stupid of TKO to let them go, because you are delivering people who could deliver new fans to your competition. Like, it's right there. BJ Dixon's here. What's up, buddy? Good to have you with us. Let's see. Bleary Line says, the thing I do like about Don's storylines is that there's a lot of show, don't tell. Like, we're kind of told that MJF and Don do business, but we're not told about the ongoing payments to Don. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, Don's a fucking weasel, and he's clearly not to be trusted. Oh, he's never said Blade's humility is affording him some good vibes. I know. Mean, that's a first. Yeah. Rarusha. I need Kevin Knight versus Mystico match for Forbidden Door. Hell yeah. Give me that. Oh my God. If Kofi and Creed aren't coming, no one told the Bucks, according to Blair Line. Yeah.
Well, the Bucks and Shelton are basically booking.
Yeah. Cowdog Games says they can also use Kevin Knight to help Swerve Strickland in the Owen Hart Cup tournament and tie back to Will Ospreay with the Don Callis family. I could see that.
Yeah.
Something else happened in that show that does tie back to the Don Callis family. Always Never, the Hurt Syndicate being MJF lackeys was some bullshit. There's some historical issues there that I will leave alone. It's Friday. Let's have fun. Fair enough.
Yeah. No.
And BJ Dixon said, my initial reaction to him joining DCF, I wasn't a fan of it, but as a fan of Kevin, I'm willing to see it through. I think it's very temporary, and it's going to make Kevin Knight look like a really, really good heel when it all comes to fruition. Everybody's going to be a little more scared of Kevin, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know,
which would
again, let it play out
for him to be a spy for Swerve, who is the most dangerous man in AEW. Make Kevin Knight look equally as dangerous.
A lot of times with AEW, what I find is somebody who's about to be a really big deal is nowhere to be seen for a little while. And how often have we seen Swerve? Like once or twice?
Oh, yeah. Swerve is
in the last few months.
Like, because I think once Ospreay wins, I think it is going to Swerve next. I think this is the current lineage, which is why I think Kenny is going to beat MJF. I think he's lost now twice to MJF. I think he is going to win a third time on a third match. Because again, MJF versus Will Ospreay versus Omega for Wembley is your headline right there. Like, I don't care if people want to argue. I think that's why Kenny is not on I think that's the reality of Kenny not being on TV, is to gear up for a match like that. And then it's going to be Swerve. And
yeah, I can see that. I think, you know, Blair Line says the thing with MJF and Hurt Syndicate is that it's funny when MJF is kind of doing the pretty fly for a white guy, but he didn't actually get his ass kicked enough at the end. It was ended way weird. Yeah. It was just very weird. They just dropped it, which AEW never does.
I kind of hope it comes back into play at some point where Bobby or Shelton get their kind of revenge on MJF. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
AEW really prides themselves in misdirection. They like that they're going to have you chasing your tail trying to figure out where this is going, and you'll probably still be wrong. But most of the time, they have a very satisfying end. And I think that is something I do trust about AEW, is that they have a longer term plan, especially for Kevin Knight, that is going to resolve itself in a really cool way. And it's not with Don Callis. It's going to be, there's about 7 or 8 story beats for every big program going on right now. Letting it play out is actually probably the smartest thing you can do before getting upset about the story itself. And like I said, the person who's learned that the hard way and the most publicly is me. So, I have learned over time to trust Tony with this stuff. And, by and large, I do. So let's see what the rest of the chat says. Always Never makes a great point. I would be dope with Kevin getting to be what AR Fox was supposed to be as part of the embassy. Yes. I love seeing, by the way, AR Fox in Ring of Honor right now is so much fun to watch as the TV champion down there. So good. Dr. Fusion, oh my God, who could tag with New Day so they could win the trios belts? I think they're going to go after the tag belts first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really hope the Young Bucks are the ones they go up against, because that is, and I think that's a dream match for everyone. Is the Young Bucks versus the New Day. So like,
oh, big time.
Like that's like what I want to see at All In.
I think the Bucks and Kenny versus New Day and
someone else. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that would be good. Swerve is being set up for that huge moment. It's going to fuck hard. Screw universes. Look, they position Swerve as kind of the embodiment of all evil. And that's what he is positioning himself as, right? But he's having a hard time getting the job done all by himself. And so this is a story they've been telling way in the background. They're telling Kenny's story way in the background right now. But both those guys are going to be a huge part of All In. You rest assured. Always never. AEW never forgets. They will reference everything until they leave the company. Yes. Yes. And Blair Line says, remember, viewer, you might as well let Blade tell you how to let it play out, because you can harass him if he's wrong. It's like enshrined into the sicko constitution. It's true. It's true.
It's actually a fact.
It's true. Yeah. And if you just do the opposite of whatever I say, you'll probably be right. But let's circle back to Andrade for a minute. Okay. I think his time in the Don Callis family is running out.
I would even say I think the Don Callis family is on borrowed time.
Maybe. But Andrade is clearly being positioned either for a babyface turn or maybe a tweener kind of turn.
Tweener
after he gave that
just fits the personality. Sorry.
Yeah. After he gave that little pep talk to Roosh before their match, MJF and Roosh, who had a great match. It feels like a LFI run might be in the offing with Andrade and Roosh. However, which one of them is going to be the leader? That's an interesting question for me, because Andrade is being positioned as the bigger star, certainly. But it's kind of weird too, because Drilistico and Mordos are off TV with visa issues, I think. And the other member is Sammy Guevara. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So would they scrap all of that and just base it around Andrade and Roosh and maybe have them kill Sammy together? And that's the ultimate baby.
I mean, I would love that. I have been anti-Sammy Guevara for years, so this man will never win me over at this point. So if I could watch anyone kill him and it be Andrade, I will take that and I will eat that up.
Fair enough. I would say Andrade is getting the Takeshita treatment from Don, where he's trying to cut him off from MJF the way Don was trying to cut off Takeshita from Okada. And he's not going to stop demanding that match. So I think we're a month or two out from seeing something happen. I think before MJF drops that title, Andrade will leave the Don Callis family. So that's where I think things are going. And we'll leave things there for now. We're going to hit some music. When we come back, we got a big return on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about it. Books. Who was the person you most wanted to see come back to AEW?
Mercedes.
Did you think she was going to be the wild card?
I thought it was too obvious. I truly thought they would save her for a return at like maybe Forbidden Door or something. But in my heart, I knew it had to be Mercedes, because the women's division needs Mercedes right now.
Yes, the women's division is in dire need of Mercedes right now.
They need her voice. They need her oh my God, I cannot say it. She is a advocate. So we need that back right now.
Yeah. Well, and for some reason her and Tony seem to be the two people that WBD / Tony Khan see as big stars that can draw a rating. And you know, I think I felt like Mercedes was too obvious, but I feel like this was done weirdly. Like it still happened in that 9:30 spot. There was no tease. There was no real hype. And for a star at the level of Mercedes, obviously a bigger star than a lot of the men in AEW.
I mean, I would say she's probably
me.
the biggest star in AEW, considering her work outside of AEW.
Yeah, I think like her, Mox. I think, Mox is one of the biggest stars.
Yeah,
I'd have to think about
Mercedes
that, but you might be right.
Star Wars cred. So
right.
She has that Disney.
It was just
push behind
baffling to me that this didn't happen in a more prominent spot on the show. Like,
why did you put Mercedes return at 9:30? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I after that match I tuned out because I was so mad that they put Mercedes Moné at the fucking death spot.
The match itself was great, and both Windsor and Moné are top notch. I'm going to disagree with you on that one, but this can be seen as great news for the women's division, ultimately, because Moné is one of the top few female stars that they feel some trust in, I guess, which is bullshit in the first place, right? I mean, they have a pretty amazing women's division that they've got to create more stars from, bottom line.
What's going to happen when Mercedes retires?
Right.
When
or what if Tony doesn't come back from having a kid, or if that's what's going on?
I'm calling it she has the Deuce Robinson parasite right now until anything is confirmed. Because it just sounds funny.
but yeah, without those two,
what are they going to do? Like, you have so many, like, again, I would be pushing Thekla. Thekla alone is fucking building Forbidden Door right now. Which, I mean, if Gabe Kidd was not injured, just put them on a fucking TV show by themselves to build Forbidden Door because they're doing the work. But I'm gonna be like Mercedes, and I'm gonna say I'm good. I've been to therapy. I'm calm.
That's funny. So basically, Mercedes and Windsor have a great match. Mercedes wins clean, and certainly isn't acting like a babyface or anything.
Besides taking the Owen Hart belt, which was kind of weird because technically she is still the winner from the 2025
from last year.
But it kind of, that was a little old Mercedes coming out by taking that belt.
Yeah,
but it's going to be interesting to see how this therapy, more humbled Mercedes acts.
Or if it did. Right. Because Blair Line says she held the submission in for like 15 extra seconds at the end. Like, I mean, it was a long time.
It's fine.
It's fine. But what I would say is I'm not sure I like the idea of her winning this tournament. Because if Willow's, I mean, this is all, I guess, here's my thing. Is Willow really hurt? I assume so, right? She sounded like she was going to be out for a long time.
You can hear it in her voice that it was.
It seemed legit. So you have to assume Mercedes wasn't penciled in to win this originally, right? Yeah. Now the most obvious thing seems like Mercedes will win this tournament. I don't like it because she won it last year. I want her to have her big moment at All In, right? I want her to win the world title. None of that's an issue for me. Mercedes is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. Bless you.
Thank you.
But having her come in, beat Athena again, Unless
it's not Athena.
Right. Well, the other option would be it's Sky Blue or Suri. And I don't know. In her own bracket, her opponent in the next round will either be Persephone or Hazuki. And her and Hazuki had a match that Dave Meltzer said was the best women's match in North America in the last 20 years or something, about 18 months ago. So I can see them doing that match again. Back. But Mercedes versus Persephone.
Oh,
I mean, they've done that match before. Yeah, they've done that match in Mexico a couple times.
Well, the next Mercedes match is Forbidden Door, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can...
No. So
No?
she faces the winner of Persephone and Hazuki.
Yeah. I definitely think it's going to then be Sky Blue versus... It's going to be a Stardom talent coming on the second side.
So you think it'll be Hazuki versus Mercedes?
Yeah.
And so maybe Sari versus Athena?
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking of how they're going to get Thekla involved.
Ultimately, it's great that Mercedes is back for the women's division. But I think, her and Athena, I don't want to see her beat Athena again, honestly.
I don't either.
Athena needs to be built up on television.
Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of that's Athena not wanting to be on I think she's very happy in ROH.
She said yesterday on the ROH show, obviously in character, she's like, AEW's the goal.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, they're kind of like, don't sleep on ROH, things. But yeah. So, it wouldn't surprise me if Mercedes goes back to back. It would be nice, though, if they had a rivalry that was real, where Athena has a win over Mercedes, and they're 1-1, and they have to figure out how to finish it later.
Yeah.
I would love that. But Persephone versus Mercedes is a match I really want to see at some point in AEW, because I think they're just a great match, and I love Persephone. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
So next week we will get Sari versus Sky Blue, and this Saturday we get Persephone versus Hazuki. So there's at least some progress being made in this tournament. 2 people who were injured are still in the tournament, which I was worried that they would have to pull Persephone or Sari or both. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat has to say about this. Dr. Fusion says Mercedes was a weird decision for the wild card, a little obvious, but the CEO gimmick has got to go. That return should have been leading off the show.
Yeah. I think it would have gotten the crowd so hype if she.
It would have. It would have been a draw for the viewership too. I really think. Sure, it's the playoffs, the NBA, whatever. They do it every year. I mean, the women can't just not be on the show because you have the playoffs going on. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I have my thing with Mercedes winning is it is coming from that. If this is Warner Brothers wants a bigger name, putting it on Mercedes now is the best thing for the long-term health of the women's division.
And it might be. I think I don't disagree with that. I think depending on what is actually causing the booking to be the way it is, Mercedes may have to be the winner just so that you can continue to open that opportunity up for other women. Skewered Universe says, if anything, Mercedes get to the final to lose the O and have a gigantic crash out. Her versus Athena. And Athena beats her. Yeah, I think there's a story there.
There's a huge story there, but I'm looking at the health of the division.
Right.
Screen time.
I think if you do Mercedes versus Persephone, Blairline says, I think Persephone wins and you can have Mercedes babyface turn start off at the loss. I agree. I think there is a story that can be told between now and All In for Mercedes as if she loses. I think that could turn her babyface, which might actually be the bigger story than her becoming the champion right now. I don't know. Cowdog Games, I see Mercedes versus Athena for the rematch, and Athena wins this time, but I truly don't know what they are going to do. Yeah.
It's really hard to figure out the women's division right now, other than it's just good that Mercedes is back.
Dr. Fusion says shoulder injuries are no joke. Willow is tough, so I expect her back at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, Jay White, a big reason he's been gone more than a year now is he broke his hand, but he also had major shoulder surgery, and that can take a really long time to come back from.
Jay White is ruining my fantasy booking so fucking much into Forbidden Door. So,
always never says I like Mercedes' new theme, but I also don't want her to beat Athena again. Yeah. And Blurry Line says 100%. I think Mercedes having her first legit babyface run in years is a bigger story than her winning the belt because she's just had a lot of belts. I think also the babyface run and then becoming the champion might make for a more epic moment, because I think ultimately the clear thing that they're doing with Mercedes is she is the GOAT. Mm-hmm. And Tony Khan wants to cement that as her legacy. Is that she's the GOAT. Toni Storm may not be the GOAT wrestler. Toni Storm is just all around one of the most entertaining people that's ever been on a TV screen before. And I mean that for wrestling and beyond. Toni Storm is genuinely one of the greatest TV characters I've ever seen in my life. Even beyond wrestling. But the other question I have for the chat and for you books, did AEW listen to what I would call a decent backlash last week over the pretty poor featuring of the women?
No.
You don't think they did?
No. Why was Mercedes return at 9:30 death slot? If they listened, that would not have been the 9:30 match. I'm not going to give them credit for giving a great match. I'm not going to pat him on the back for that. Sorry.
Well, the other thing that you got to realize is there was a great match that they had between Mercedes and Alex Windsor, but it went about 12 and a half minutes. The only matches shorter than that match were Andrade's squash match, which ended in an extended promo, and Leo Rush versus Mark Briscoe, which ended in a promo that was as long as the match. They also had an extended promo from Thekla.
But that was okay. That was okay. That was the best promo of the night.
That I saw mixed reviews of for some reason. I personally thought it was fantastic. Thekla declared death to Stardom.
She's the only one building Forbidden Door.
Right. She's the only person who's even mentioned Forbidden Door so far. And while at the top of the ladder, brought out by Sky Blue and Julia Hart, she spit on the Stardom logo. Which funny. I loved. Because what does that guarantee? We're actually going to have some real involvement from Stardom this time.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very, very, very excited about that. And so that was good. I thought the promo was great. Tekla's just great. Incredibly entertaining. Did you think that the ladder was in reference to anything? AEW doesn't usually show you something if it's not going to have some kind of relevance, right?
Oh, I think it's going to have relevance. I just don't know what yet.
Clear. She spat on the D, which I imagine Thekla is 100% immature enough to do on 100%. Purpose. Yes. Yeah. Do you think it's possibly a ladder match that they're going to have at Forbidden Door?
I can see it.
I can see a multi-woman.
Yeah.
A multi-woman ladder match. Because that way nobody has to take a pin, right? They can take a loss without taking a pin, basically. And that might work out all right. Kaylee Metz in the chat. What's up?
What if
Thank you for being here.
Athena or Athena loses in the Owen, but wins a ladder match and at Forbidden Door. So then All In is Athena versus Mercedes.
I think that just like we're saying, we both think Kenny somehow is going to end up being world champion before All In, right?
I've never been so sure of something. There's only a few things I'm very sure of, and that's one of them.
I have no idea how they're going to get there. But I even noticed last night during the Roosh and MJF match, which we're not really talking about tonight, but honorable mention, that was a great match. Really fantastic match. Also love seeing Roosh getting some real showcase. We saw the strangling cable come back. So they're consistently giving Roosh the Greeny Garrote, as Blurry Line named it. So I think those are all positive signs. But Roosh looks really great in defeat in that match. But and MJF, this guy's just in his fucking prime right now. I mean, he's just hitting his prime. Yeah. This is the best I've ever seen him. He's as good as I've ever seen him. Yes. So Blurry Line echoes the point. They had a top 5 star in the company return unteased in the death slot.
That's why I can't give them credit for having some stuff because they are still making stupid decisions. And
then Blair Lane continues, in my honest opinion, as an improvement that she's back, but it doesn't feel like they listened. I agree. I would say that too. I would also say, Mercedes isn't a magic bullet. If you don't feature the women enough, the crowd is not going to get behind the women.
No.
I noticed during Thekla's promo last night, crowd was a little quiet at times, or 2 nights ago, the crowd was a little quiet at times. And it's like, you guys have to tell the crowd who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
And Thekla in that promo actually did. I loved her giving the background of her lore in Stardom, right? She's the idol killer. She was there to kind of be the anti-Stardom wrestler, right? Even when she was there, and to kind of illuminate why she was fired from Stardom in kayfabe, right?
Yeah. I think Thekla is going off script. That's my feeling.
Maybe. But I thought it was her promo was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think she went off script, because it was good.
There was also a hype package for Ty versus Divine Dominion and this discussion about the TBS title tournament and the survival of the fittest match that's going to take place on Dynamite on July 1st.
We're going to have a whole pay-per-view without another women's title being mentioned. That would be a perfect way to bring in talent from Stardom, New Japan, and CMLL and do that match there. But what do I know?
I think overall it was a better use of the women's division than the week before. But again, that's a historic bad, that you're comparing it to. So that's great, in comparison to last week. But I did feel I can't give them really that much credit for it.
No.
The TBS title thing, what I do like is that it guarantees that you're going to have important women's matches on the shows leading up to that survival of the fittest match. And that I do like. But yeah, like you said, the TBS title won't be decided before Forbidden Door. So it won't be defended at Forbidden Door. So that's pretty frustrating. I'd give it a C- or a D+, especially given how muted the return of Mercedes was. Probably the D+.
I'm on the D+, yeah. Because last week was a D-. So
last week was an F. Just
I was being generous.
I mean, they did have a great women's match on the show. It's just a lot of people didn't see it. Cowdog Games says, I think the Stardom versus the AEW women's division civil war is definitely going to be interesting. Yes. I really hope they go far with it. I did see that they announced a Global Wars match, Athena versus Shuri. Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, I really hope they're playing into this more, because it is going to be.
I would absolutely love to see greater Stardom involvement in AEW.
Yeah.
Those are the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. AEW has some of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. AEW's been sending talent over to Stardom a lot the last year. And so I would love to see the favor be returned, I
also have a theory that Thekla should send Sky Blue and Julia Hart to Stardom to destroy Stardom as a good way to get training for those two. But
yeah. And I've also seen, they've hinted, I think, that Sky Blue might just have a little Cinderella run through the tournament. So, Thekla say we got to get Sky Blue, that Owen Hart Cup thing. Well, what happens if she wins it, Thekla? Then she's facing you.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Ladder match for control of Stardom, says Steward Universe.
Why not?
Oh my God. Can you imagine if Thekla had control of Stardom for a while? Just for like a month in kayfabe. Blair Line 7, I need a real non-AI artist to draw a sexy pinup version of the green cable, Rush's strangling cable. I imagine Rush has this.
How ableist of you.
In his wallet. Oh God. Just because somebody said it to you one time doesn't mean you have to say it to everybody else.
Right? It must be a fact.
I swear Thekla has basically been left to do all the promotion of her own feuds herself, which sucks, but she's good at it.
Yeah, she's good at it.
Yes, Blair Line, I agree. I think she has been kind of thrown to the wolves. Blurry Line 7, not going to lie, even though I'm excited for the survival of the fittest match, it pisses me off that they vacated a title in May and announced the next champion to be crowned in July. Yeah, that sucks. Blurry Line 7, that would not happen for a men's title. Exactly.
No, that's just like my inconsistent like nonsense that I'm talking about is that they would never treat. I'm also, for the record, moving forward, will be calling everything. Like I will refer to the Owen Hart tournament like that for the women. I will call it the World Championship, but I will be calling it the men's world title, the men's Owen Hart. I'm going to be a backwards misogynist.
Well, I do call the men's world championship.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to put the women's in front of the world title.
You just call it the world
title.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Backwards misogyny. I like it. Okay. I got a real question for you, Books, and it's not going to make everyone happy. Do you think Mark Briscoe is a legit main eventer?
I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. I love Mark Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's perfect where he's at.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mark Briscoe and Leo Rush had a really fun match that was well worked and very entertaining.
Even though Leo Rush should have won, but
I'm fine with Leo losing for now. I love his gimmick, and if anything, he's the one guy who's got kind of a mystical, zombie, whatever kind of gimmick that doesn't need to be physically dominant to work.
Yeah,
and
it's somehow working in AEW.
And it's working so well. And clearly it's picking up a lot of steam because he's on TV every week now, one way or another. I love Mark. I loved him with Leo. I thought it was very, very well done.
I love Orange Cassidy with him.
The whole like if you don't move,
he can't see you. Oh my god, peak comedy. I loved it.
Blurry Light 7 says, "Sit down, shut up, Miss Andrie is my favorite podcast." That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Maybe that'll be a segment on the show where Books can just like rant about like and be super, super reverse sexist to the men. I was never called it the whole MNBA gimmick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's an NBA and a WNBA. Why not an MNBA? BJ Dixon asked, have you heard anything about Max's injury? I hope it's not something serious. I heard that he hyperextended his knee, but AEW is very confident that he will be able to do everything he's booked to do for Forbidden Door. So he may not wrestle until Forbidden Door, but I don't know. I watched that match again last night, and you can see where he hurts himself. I mean, he's so good at selling that I thought it was a sell when I saw it live. But anyway, back to Mark Briscoe. So they have this great match. Mark wins. I knew Mark was going to win. After the match, Mark cuts a very intense and long promo on MJF that is as long as the match that they had. And I had to watch this show twice because of this segment. Because I saw some people's immediate reaction to it was, that was the best promo Mark has ever done. It's the promo of his career. And in the moment, this is why not featuring the women enough hurts the entire product. Because Mark is giving what a lot of people feel is the promo of his career. And I'm going, this is a long promo. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really hearing Mark in the moment. I'm going, he just had a 10-minute match and now you're going to give him a 10-minute promo? Like, and I am going, there could have been a women's segment. There could have been a women's match. There could have been something, going on here.
But that could have been a Collision promo backstage. Mm-hmm. And this is, they could have done the same thing, but done it differently. Because that really could have been a segment for the women. And the problem is that these things are going to keep happening. And people like me I'm tuning out for a lot of this shit now. So I don't know if it was the best promo, because honestly, after the first 5 minutes, when I started reading my book, because I was like, oh, look, a man yapping.
It was a great promo. I watched it again last night, and knowing how the show was going to go down and not being on edge, like, are they going to have more women this week? You know, that kind of thing going through my head. I already knew the answer, right? So I just watched it for what it was, and it was a great promo, right? But the disservice you're doing to people like Mark is people are watching his promo going, that could have been a women's match. Mm-hmm. That could have been this. That could have been that. You know, every time Jericho's on the screen, somebody says that could have been blah, 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 right? And that's going to happen when when a lot of people's favorite characters aren't being shown, you know? But when it was live, I was thinking this promo and match combined very likely took up like 20 minutes, right? You're telling me that Mercedes and Windsor couldn't have been in this spot in place of, the Leo Rush and Mark Briscoe segment or another women's match? That's what I felt in real time. And I wasn't hearing him. And again, I think that's really unfair to him, right? To put him in that position.
I will also say, like, it was a good promo, right? But it's also I feel like Mark, especially with MJF, becomes very repetitive in what they say. And it felt like another round of the promo from when MJF kept bringing up Jay.
Right. Well, and
so it just felt a cycle. It just felt like a recycled version of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that kind of begs the question is, if you're going to give Mark Briscoe 20 minutes on your show, right? Does Tony think of Mark Briscoe as a main eventer or a future world champion? Is he building Mark to main event Forbidden Door against MJF? Because this is where I'm going to become an asshole. I love Mark Briscoe. I love Jay Briscoe. I love the Briscoe brothers very much. But in no world do I see Mark Briscoe as an AEW Men's World Champion.
No.
His character comes across more to me, and I think could be the most effective as a fantastic upper mid-card babyface. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need a title either.
I'm going to be disappointed and a little pissed if I have to pay for a show where that's a featured match.
Mm-hmm. If that's a featured match, I will probably not buy Forbidden Door.
And it's not just because I feel like Mark shouldn't be the world champion. It's because we've seen it before. We've already paid for it before. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be as bothered if it was a Dynamite match, but I truly hope that Tony Khan is not letting his own personal feelings for a wrestler let him misjudge the audience's buy into that wrestler. Because I think it's a huge mistake that will end up hurting Mark in the long run with the fans.
Yeah.
Because people love the conglomeration because, like, in my opinion, they seem a bit removed from the big title chases and kind of inhabit their own world. Mm-hmm. And it's just a fun thing that people can enjoy just for what it is, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun and goofy, and lighthearted and not constantly chasing titles. And it kind of feels like that right now. Because it feels like Mark has been chasing titles for a little too long now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is forcing, and if I or the rest of the fans are forced to watch MJF and Briscoe main event a pay-per-view where we've already seen them have featured matches on pay-per-views that we've already paid for, it's going to stunt my enjoyment of the show. Of course they'd have a great match, but AEW, every match is pretty much great. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. You know, it's not enough for them to have a great match.
We've paid for it before. People in the main event seem to keep repeating the same stories.
Well, and that's where my other question comes from for me, and Always Never is calling it out in the chat here. Always Never says Mark and MJF is Mark and Fletcher for me. Dope matches, but I want to see other people on TV sometimes. Briscoe doesn't need a title. We just did this with Kyle Fletcher. They just had their last match, which was their 7th match in like a year and a half. Okay. Some of which had happened on pay-per-view. We just had their last match in Australia, right? Like, we don't need to have another match between MJF and Mark Briscoe on pay-per-view. I don't want Mark Briscoe to be the AEW world champion, men's world champion. He's just, I cannot like in any way elevate him to the same place as a Swerve Strickland or a Hangman or an MJF or a Kenny Omega or any of those guys. He's great at what he does.
Yeah.
But I don't see him there. I just don't.
Fully with you.
Yeah.
And I love Mark. Yeah. I think he's hilarious. Like, I would love to I want to keep seeing him on TV, but not in that
Of course,
scene.
Yeah.
Not in that world title scene.
Have him feuding with Tommaso Ciampa. Have him, those are feuds I want to see for him. Have him warm up those younger guys coming up. Have him do a job for Kevin Knight. Have him, put over guys that are on their way to the main event. But Mark he's like 40 years old,
He's older.
He might be a little older. He looks great. He wrestles great. Have him do a program with Mick Foley, where they're
the fact that they haven't done anything yet between the two of them is wild to me.
Yeah. And it looks like a lot of people in 41. The chat kind of agree with
this.
Yeah,
he's 41.
Yeah. Yes. Blurry Line says this was a case of people not reading the room. Blurry Line adds that Mark did the first 60% of a very good promo, maybe his best. It kind of fell apart at the end. Always Never says I tuned out with Mark's promo for the same reason. Blurry Line adds, but it's disserviced by the wider disrespect of the women's division. This is not the time where we needed to hear a man talk for 8 minutes. Agreed. It kind of came across, ironically, a bit like an MJF promo from back in the day when they would just let Max talk for 20 minutes and not give him a hard out. Like, this felt like that a little bit. Cowdog Game says, I agree. The promo was too long with all of the pausing. It felt like he did not confidently know what he wanted to say. Always Never says, perfectly stated, Books. The roster is too deep to do a lot of repeat matches and feuds. It really is. You got the greatest collection of talent ever assembled, very likely. Okay. I don't think there's many rosters you could compare to what AEW has. And I don't want to see Mark Briscoe and MJF fight 6 times in a year. I just don't want to see that. Blurry Line says, I feel like I'm doing this feud slightly dirty, but Mark and MJF main eventing feels like when Dustin and Nick Camarado main eventing at Dynamite. I wouldn't maybe quite go to that level, but I don't want them main eventing a pay-per-view. If you're saying main eventing pay-per-view is like Dustin and Nick Camarado main eventing at Dynamite, I agree with that. Especially Forbidden Door, where you have so much overlapping, talent from all these different promotions. I want to see MJF and Mystico maybe have a match in the US for once.
Yeah.
I would love to see, there's all kinds of things you can do here.
Hear me out. I also think Forbidden Door should be less about title matches and more about just like putting these talents together and just having great matches versus like making everything a title.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't even need to necessarily have Max in a title match. And it might be good for him with a hyperextended knee not to have a title match. Tony Montoya, my cousin, is Forbidden Door reference. Tony, God damn it. We talked about this, man. That's like the 8th time you've asked me that question. Blurry Line, I don't really have an issue with Max Mark being a TV main event feud, just short and sweet. If you can get it, and they have this big Dynamite happening next week, so if MJF was healthy enough to wrestle, which they should not rush him back, but if he was healthy enough to wrestle, that would be a great time to do it. But hyperextending your knee can be very serious too. So, but yeah, for whatever reason, Tony does this with Mark Briscoe, particularly. It's not Mark's fault, but he had 7 matches with Kyle Fletcher. He's had 2 or 3 with Max,
It's time to move on.
Come on, man. It's time to move on. Tony Montoya, relax, Blades. It's just a budget. All right. Okay. So last things last. Main event of the show. Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis. Mark Davis, I was really looking forward to this match because Mark Davis has been an absolute beast since he came back. Like, this dude had just terrible luck with injuries. the entire time he's been in AEW. And I didn't realize this, but he's had a terrible time with injuries this entire career. He always gets injured in these weird ways. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Mark is significantly older than Kyle Fletcher. So just because they were in Aussie Open, they're not like the same age. Like Mark is significantly older. So Mark's like in his early 30s-ish, you know? But Ospreay's story has probably been the best story AEW's told the last several months. That and the Sheeta story, basically. Mm-hmm. And what I loved about this match is that it kind of intertwines the Death Riders, the potential looming presence of the United Empire, the Dogs. Yep.
Time out for a second. Did anyone else notice Windsor was in United Empire green for the match?
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
It's about time women got into some of these factions, like big, like kind of goofy factions. Agreed.
Yeah. And Ospreay, so Ospreay's story is kind of combining the United Empire, the Dogs, the deep history many of these performers have with New Japan. It's fascinating, and even more so, the recent announcement of Bushiroad selling their stake in New Japan makes this even more interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So, involving so many stables in one story, there's going to be some shenanigans, right?
Oh, yeah. Shenanigans were had. Triple H on his Ain't Even Watching podcast must have had a blast. We had Pab. We had run-ins. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Triple H was happy with this.
Well, that's the thing. So this is one of the few times AEW has done a match. This really reminded me of the Cody Roman match at WrestleMania, yes, where Cody won. It's just like fucking screw job galore, right? Run in. But it was so well done. It was really, really.
You kept waiting to see who's coming out next. You were like, okay,
yeah.
I was waiting for someone to actually come out and help his friend when a screwdriver came out. But no. Yes, I just threw Kenny, by the way.
Kenny failed Will. That is true. He kind of failed him, didn't he? But the Death Riders had his back. The match itself was about 23 minutes long. Ospreay and Davis had so many surprise kickouts. They definitely spammed kickouts in this match, but I think it totally worked. It worked in this one. It was entirely believable that Will was going to lose a few different times.
I thought Will was actually losing. Like, there was a moment there where I was like, Will is losing this.
Yeah. After they had what felt like a whole ass match, the Trent and El Clone run down and they attack Will. Then Yuta and Garcia run down and attack them. Then Lance Archer comes out and attacks them. Then Claudio comes out and attacks him. Then Brian Cage comes out and attacks him. Then Pac. Then Paul Turner gets shoved back in the ring because he takes an enziguri. He took an enziguri from Davis to start the whole thing. He tries to make the count on Will, but for Will, and then Jake Doyle pulls him out at 2. And he's back down. Then Doyle starts beating Ospreay's ass. Then Marina runs down, jumps on Doyle like a total badass. Doyle throws her down to the mat. Then Big Mox runs down, and he and Doyle go face to face. Mox hits a Death Rider DDT on Jake Doyle, and he and Marina double clothesline Doyle over the top rope, which was totally badass. Everybody's outside. Pac hits a moonsault from the top to the outside on everyone.
Beautiful moonsault too. That was it's Pac. I mean, I would argue Pac actually has the prettiest moonsault in all of wrestling. But
yeah, he does a lot of things the best in wrestling. It's crazy. Everyone brawls to the back. The ref is still out. Then Kyle Fletcher runs down and destroys Will with a half and half suplex. He's going to do more, but Takeshita comes out of the crowd. And he and Kyle beat each other's ass to the back through the crowd. And then it's just Davis and Ospreay.
Didn't come out? Will's hero.
Kenny.
Will's hero once again disappointed. I'm not saying his name. I'm not.
You can kind of see where I've been coming from this whole time.
No, I understand where Will is coming from.
You understand where I was coming from with this whole Don Callis business.
No, Don was wrong. Kenny brought Don a lot of fame and money. Mm-hmm. Will feels betrayed by a friend who was his hero, his mentor.
And yet Kenny
Don
didn't win the world title until Don was managing him.
Okay.
And then Kenny, every time he's wrestled for the title since then, he's lost.
But Kenny brought Don fame. The reason why Don could have the Don Callis family is because of his relationship with Kenny and the prestige that Kenny brought Don.
Interesting take. Okay. But then they have like half a match after all these people leave. There's still Davis hits that fucking the pile driver thing where he pulls you over sideways and just drops you on your fucking skull. And he still can't pin Ospreay. Ospreay hits him with the fucking hidden blade and still can't pin him. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, Ospreay captures Davis in Death Ground, which I'm just going to tell you right now is one of the dumbest names for a move I've ever heard in my life. Okay? Death Ground. Terrible name. And Mark taps. Mark finally taps. Ospreay's advancing to the finals. He will face the winner of Swerve versus Brody King at Forbidden Door. To the shock of really no one.
I still think it might be Brody King because I think this is what's going to send Swerve over.
Maybe.
I think it's what's going to cause Swerve to actually go through with forming the embassy.
Yes.
Or losing to Ospreay, but either way, Swerve is not winning the Owen Hart.
No, Swerve's not winning. I think Swerve's going to go ballistic because he doesn't win.
Yeah.
Tony treats Mark Briscoe like an 11-year-old treats their favorite meme video that they keep wanting to show you. Yeah, it does feel that way. Mark was kind of already a veteran when Kyle was breaking in and he was there to guide the kid and be the established guy. Yes, exactly. But he kept getting hurt in stupid ways. He's broken his wrist many times. I heard an interview with them when they were Aussie Open on Unrestricted, and it was mind-blowing how many times Mark was out for like almost a year. I was actually in the building one time when he broke his wrist versus FTR. It was like they were supposed to win the tag titles in that match, and FTR had to call an audible. Cowdog Games, LOL. Oh, books. You have Don Callis PTSA. Yes, I mean, she does. It's true. Clear line. I swear the Styles Clash is an Ospreay move now. He's getting bigger reactions out of it than AJ did towards the end of his career, especially in his WWE run where the forearm took the lead.
It looks cleaner with MJF, not MJF, with Will Ospreay. It just looks like a cleaner move.
Yeah. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, AJ is probably Will Ospreay's favorite wrestler, you know? So it's a tribute at the end of the day.
Mm.
Cowdog Games, the guy I was watching AEW was like, it would be great if the Don Callis family had a woman, but never mind, let the problem Marina Shafir beat up men and look cool doing it. Yeah, she did look cool doing it. She looked like a total badass. Blurry line, Kenny O. Maywall over here.
I mean, not wrong. Where is Kenny? Why does Kenny only want to show up for pay-per-views? Or is he a new, like, Kenny Reigns? Am I right?
Kenny Reigns. It's true. And it looks like he's just doing Street Fighter shit all the time.
Mm-hmm. Which I get he probably has like Street Fighter promotion to do for the new game. And that's probably realistically the reason why he's not on TV. But
yeah,
it's just very stupid when his teammates and the New Day are building a feud and he's not at all in it. And Will Ospreay is carrying the Will and Kenny disappointed mentor story. Or
Tony Khan is like, look, Kenny, you get injured all the time. And so
your guts
I'm going to just keep you away. I don't even want you in a ring or near a ring.
Because your guts may explode.
Because you're the main event. You're the main event of All In. And we can't have your guts explode until the main event of All In.
And that's why I'm even more convinced that Kenny is winning either at Forbidden Door or at Redemption. It'll be a short but meaningful run because he has not been on TV.
Interesting. Redemption actually would make perfect sense.
Because that'd
like
be
the
a
whole
very
title
short
of the show.
Yeah, it's Kenny's redemption. Yeah. And then he kind of realizes that, because I can see Kenny purposely, him doing something to purposely lose to Will Ospreay at Wembley and like a passing of the torch. And then he can focus on, because once the New Day comes in Austin Creed, you are not going to want Kenny in a main picture scene, men's world title scene, because you're going to want to focus on, you're going to want to exploit that feud way too much. The amount of money the Young Bucks, the Elite versus the New Day are going to make that company is going to be outrageous. So if I was Tony Khan, this is how I book it.
Yeah. Blair Line says Cemetery Gates basically would mean the same thing as Death Ground, but has the benefit of sounding cooler and being a badass song by a problematic band. I'm not sure of the band, but take your word for it. Blair Line says Don is way too misogynistic to let a woman into the DCF.
I'm going to start a female Don WO.
Wow, you're going to start a female DCF? Wow.
Mm-hmm. No. Don WO, not DCF. Let's refer to it by its proper name.
That's fair. That's fair. Blair Line says all the explosives that didn't go off during the exploding barbed wire death match were actually rigged up to Kenny's organs. It feels that way. It really does feel that way. And then finally, Kaylee Metz, the New Day is going to interrupt the celebration of the Young Bucks winning the ladder match and tag belts at Wembley. I can see it now. I think you're right. That seems like the perfect time for them to come out.
Do you think Mickey Ruffus is already working on that theme song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would be if I was him. Tony Khan's notorious for calling him 24 hours before somebody shows up needing something, you know?
Yeah, I can just way to make it very clear it's the New Day right away, because it's going to be a pop.
Yeah. No, it's going to be great. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. It's been a lot of fun. If you can, and if you haven't already, or if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're listening to the edit, wherever you're hearing this, please go onto that platform and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be doing this each and every Friday. We do it live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And then the edited episode comes out the next day. So however you like to consume this, please leave us a rating on that platform. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the little bell notification so that you get notified each and every time we're live or we post something new or whatever. But until next time, I'm Blade Daly.
And I'm Bitter Books.
Pro Wrestling Forever.